Hello and welcome everybody to my channel Omni Bio Entrance, and today we will be discussing MSc Entrance question paper of Pondicherry University. It's a biotechnology question paper and it was conducted in the year 2011. So coming to the first question, when Frederick Griffith injected mice with Streptococcus pneumoniae that lacked a capsule, the mice. So what was Griffith experiment? Griffith experiment was a stepping stone for the discovery of genetic material, that is DNA is the genetic material. So it was a stepping stone for the discovery. Then Streptococcus pneumonia was used in the experiment and it was two types. One which had a coat, that is S strain. It was smooth and shiny. And the other didn't have a coat. So it was the rough one. Now what was the experiment? The living S strain was injected into the mouse and the mouse dies. At the same time, when R strain was injected into the mouse lives. But if a dead S strain, that is heat killed S strain, was injected into mouse, the mouse lives. Now if a mixture of living R strain and heat killed S strain, that is dead S strain, was injected into mouse, the mouse dies. And what was obtained from the mouse? He obtained the S strain bacteria in the dead mice. So the R strain inherited some transforming principle from the heat killed S strain bacteria which made them virulent. So in the question, when Frederick Griffith injected mice with Streptococcus pneumoniae that lacked a capsule, the mice, it remained healthy. So answer is option A. Then next one. The substrate for photosynthesis are water and carbon dioxide. Answer is option C. All of the genes and other DNA of an organism constitute its genome. So answer is option A. Then if an element has an atomic number of 6 and a mass number of 14, how many neutrons does it have? Now mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. Atomic number is equal to number of protons and atomic number is 6. So number of protons is 6. So 14 is equal to, or we will substitute in the formula, mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. So 14 is equal to 6 plus x, or x is equal to 8. So answer is option D, 8. Then next one, dioecious plants have. So what is a monoecious flower or monoecious plant? A monoecious plant is one that has male and female flowers on the same plant, whereas a dioecious plant has either male or female flowers but not both. So answer is option C, male or female flowers. The site of the enzyme surface where the reactant fits is referred to as its active site. Answer is option C. What is allosteric site? Allosteric site is a binding site on the surface of the enzyme other than the active site. Then next one. Unlike other blood cells, certain types of dash are not confined to the bloodstream but instead can squeeze through the walls of capillaries to get to where they are needed. Leukocytes. Unlike other blood cells, certain types of leukocytes are not confined to the bloodstream, but instead they can squeeze through the walls of the capillaries to where they are needed. So answer is option B, leukocytes. So when cloning Dolly, in order to encourage the plasma membrane of the two cells to become leaky, so that the contents of the mammary cell passed into egg cell, researchers applied. Now a Scottish blackface, that was the egg donor, and a fin dorset, that was the nuclear donor. Now for the egg donor, they removed the donor egg cell, then removed the nucleus from this egg cell, and it was called as enucleation. Then from the fin dorset, it was the nuclear donor. They removed the cells from the sheep udder mammary cell, then select a single cell. Now what they did, they combined the nucleus from the egg and the other mammary cell. The enucleated egg and the other mammary cell were combined using an electric shock. The combined cell now has a single nucleus from the nuclear donor. So they have asked here, the question is, when cloning dolly in order to encourage plasma membrane of two cells to become leaky so that the contents of the mammary cell passed into the egg cell, researchers applied. So how did they combine this enucleated egg cell and the nuclear donor cell? It was combined using electric shock. So answer is option C, electric shock. Okay, then coming to how the created dolly. They combine the cell now as a single nucleus from the nuclear donor. The combined cell begins to divide. It normally to become the blastocyst. The blastocyst is placed in the uterus of surrogate Eve. The blastocyst develops into a fetus, and in about 5 months a lamb is born and is named Dolly. So that was how Dolly was created. Then next one. The dash involves proteins in the plasma that are activated when bacteria or fungi are present. These puncture holes in the cell walls of invaders. Answer is complement system. Answer B. All of the following are correct about the X and Y chromosome except there are 78 active genes on the Y chromosome. Females have one X and one Y chromosome. Females have two X chromosomes. So answer is option B. In early meiosis, identical chromosomes can repair mutations. X and Y chromosome cannot pair and exchange genetic information. So all the others are correct except option B. Then next one. An extracellular matrix is produced by glycoprotein secretion by animal cells. Answer is option D. The purpose of meiosis is to create 4 haploid cells. Answer is option C. What is the goal of angiogenesis inhibitors? They inhibit formation of small blood vessels that feed a tumor. So angiogenesis inhibitors are inhibit formation of small blood vessels that feed a tumor. Then next one. Dash is a waxy band of cells surrounding the endodermal cells in the root. It is called as Casparian strip. Answer is option D. Mitochondria are also called powerhouse of the cell. Suicidal bags is lysozyme. Digestive bags also lysozyme. Lysosomes. Suicidal bags is also lysosomes. And protein synthesizers are ribosomes. So mitochondria are called powerhouse of the cell. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Answer is option A. Then coming to the next one. The resting or non-dividing stage between two successive mitotic divisions is called. Answer is option C, interphase. The largest animal cell is ostrich egg. Then liposomes are characteristic of what type of lipid? They are characteristic of phospholipid. Answer is option D. A community and non-living factors with which it interacts is called ecosystem. Answer is C. Biome is a large naturally occurring community of flora and fauna occupying a major habitat. Example, forest or tundra is a biome. Then biosphere is made up of parts of the earth where life exists. And what is community? Community is an interacting group of various species in a common location. A forest full of trees, undergrowth plants, inhabited by animals and rooted in soil containing bacteria and fungi. And okay. So answer is option C, ecosystem. The process of using and transforming energy is called as metabolism. Answer is option C. Then the first stage of cellular respiration called dash take place in the cytoplasm of the cell and needs no oxygen. That is, first stage of cellular respiration is glycolysis. Citric acid or Krebs cycle, it occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. Then Mendel tested heterozygotes by using test cross. Answer is option B. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in the herbicide Roundup. Is a good choice for engineering plants resistant to it because it is a powerful herbicide. All these are direct questions. That's why I am going like this. Then to turn genes of a regulatory protein called a dash is bound to a regulatory site so that the RNA polymerase is blocked. To turn the genes of a regulator protein called repressor, it is usually found in the lac operon system. So repressor binds to the regulatory site and it prevents the RNA polymerase from binding to the promoter and thereby inhibiting the synthesis of lactose metabolizing enzymes. Then next one. Darwin spent 5 years sailing around the world on which ship? HMS Beagle. Then according to Darwin's theory of evolution, all individuals have an equal chance of surviving and reproducing. It is based on the principle of natural selection, so A is wrong. Species are immutable. Tortoises are the modern descendants of glyptodons. So actually none of the above is the answer. So according to Darwin's theory of evolution, none of these are correct. Species are immutable. Darwin didn't know anything about mutations. So all these are not correct. So answer is not all of the above, it is none of the above. Then next one. Human red blood cells and onion epidermal cells are similar in that they both have a nucleus, possess a cell membrane. Red blood cells don't have nucleus, mature ones especially, but it is present in onion epidermal cells. Then possess a cell membrane. They both possess a cell membrane, have no chloroplast. They both, onion epidermal cells have chloroplast. So answer is option C, that is 2 only, possess a cell membrane. Then in humans, a sperm differs from an ovum in that it contains less cytoplasm. Answer is option A. Which of the following processes will decrease the carbon dioxide level of the atmosphere? Photosynthesis will decrease the carbon dioxide level. That is why they keep telling that we have to plant more trees. One reason is that. Then in many countries, DDT is banned as an insecticide because it is not readily biodegradable. Answer is option B. Darwin explained his theory of evolution in a book called On the Origin of Species. Answer is option A. Which of the following statements is correct description of antibiotics? Antibiotics are proteins? No. Antibiotics can engulf bacteria? No. They can be either bacteriostatic or bactericidal. They don't engulf bacteria. Antibiotics can be produced by fungi. That is correct. Antibiotics can be produced by fungi and antibiotics can react with specific antibodies. That is also not correct. So option C is the answer. Penicillin had been a very effective antibiotic in killing bacteria before. It is now much less effective because resistant strains of bacteria have evolved. Yes, that is one reason why it is much less effective. Because the bacteria resistant to penicillin action has evolved. Then penicillin is now produced by different methods. That is not the reason. The human body has become less sensitive to penicillin. That is also not the reason. We have penicillin against bacteria only, not human body. Uncontrolled intake of penicillin affects the immune system of the human body. Nothing like that. Penicillin doesn't have any action on the immune system of the human body. So answer is option A. Which of the following methods of food preservation does not require heating? Answer is option C, salting. All the other processes, that is pasteurization, canning and smoking, require heating. Then, next one. The first antibiotic discovered by scientists was secreted by a mold. The penicillin was secreted by a mold. The answer is option A. Option D, a mold. Now, which of the following statements about antibiotics is not correct? Antibiotics combine with antigen of pathogens. That is not correct. Antibiotics are produced by microorganisms. That is correct. Antibiotics inhibit the growth of microorganisms. Yes, that is also correct. Antibiotics combine with antigens of pathogens. They don't combine with any antigen of pathogens. They can be either bacteriostatic or bactericidal in action. Antibiotics do not kill human cells. There are certain antibiotics that can kill human cells also. So answer is option C. Which of the following plants reproduces by seeds but have no flowers? Answer is option A, pine. A slippery outer covering in some bacteria that protects them from phagocytosis by host cells is. Answer is option A, capsule. When flagella are distributed all around a bacterial cell, the arrangement is called peritrichous. Answer is option C. A shiny, sticky colony of Streptococcus pneumoniae is likely to be. Answer is option A, encapsulated and pathogenic. A bacterial cell wall does all of the following except that it protects the cell from phagocytosis. Answer is option D. The minimum distance at which a microscope is capable of distinguishing two points as separate is its resolving power. Answer is option D. Then, gram-negative cell wall is dash than gram-positive one. Gram-negative cell wall is thinner than gram-positive one. Because penicillin prevents peptidoglycan synthesis, it is more effective on gram-positive bacteria that has got more peptidoglycan content than the gram-negative bacteria. Then, flagella and pili are made up of protein. The genetic information of bacteria is stored in dash in one circular chromosome located in the cytoplasm. It is that is DNA. Genetic information of bacteria is stored in DNA in one circular chromosome located in the cytoplasm. Then next, difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell include all of the following except. Eukaryotic cells have mitochondria. Yes. Prokaryotic cells have more complex cell walls. Yes, some of them are having. Eukaryotic cells have cilia and flagella with complex structures. That is also correct. Prokaryotic cells have no genetic material. That is wrong. Prokaryotic cells have genetic material, but they don't have a nucleus as in eukaryotes. The fact that viruses are obligate intracellular parasite means that they require a dash for reproduction. They require a host cell for reproduction. Answer is option B. One way to determine the size, cell morphology and grouping of bacterial cell is to use a dash technique, simple stain technique. Answer is option C. Cloudiness is a sign that bacteria have grown in a dash after inoculation and incubation. Answer is option B, tube of nutrient broth. So cloudiness is a sign that bacteria have grown in a tube of nutrient broth after inoculation and incubation. Then, bacterial envelope includes all of the following structures except endospore. Answer is option D, endospore. The bacterial cell includes capsule, cell wall and cell membrane, but it does not include endospore. Endospore is produced to ward off unfavorable conditions by bacteria. Then, all of the following structures of bacteria contain or are made of protein except plasmids. So contain or are made of proteins. So pili, ribosome, cell membrane all are made of protein except plasmids are made of DNA or nucleotides. Which of the following contain polysaccharide? Gram-negative cell wall contain polysaccharide. Lipopolysaccharide is present in gram-negative cell walls. Pili and flagella are made of proteins and plasmids with nucleotides, that is, they are DNA molecules. Which of the following contains DNA? Answer is option D, plasmids. Then next one. An encapsulated cell will reproduce to form colonies that appear smooth. Answer is option D. Then next one. Endospores are all of the following except dash as compared to vegetative cells. More likely to survive treatment with disinfectants. That is correct. More resistant to staining. That is also correct. More likely to prefer nutritionally rich condition for formation. They are produced to ward off unfavorable conditions by bacteria. So they are all of the following except that they are more likely to prefer nutritionally rich conditions for formation. No. As compared to vegetative cells. No. Then they are more resistant to temperature changes. That is also correct. Then phagocytosis of bacteria is more difficult when they are protected by a capsule. Which of the following organisms produce? Streptococcus pneumonia has got capsule. Klebsiella pneumonia has also got capsule, and Mycoplasma pneumonia have also got capsule. So A, C, D all three produce capsule. Then next one. If you use a visible light microscope to examine a live culture of bacterium possessing flagella, you will be able to see the flagella of moving the bacteria. So actually when you use a light microscope, you will not be able to see the flagella. Answer is option B. One cannot see the flagella. Then in what phase of growth curve is or does a culture is most sensitive to antibiotics? It is during the exponential growth or the rapid growth phase or the log phase of bacterial growth. It will be more sensitive to the antibiotic. Then most human pathogens prefer temperature near that of the human body. They are called as mesophiles. Answer is option C. Psychrophiles are organisms capable of growth and reproduction in low temperature. Thermophiles thrive at relatively high temperature, and mesophils are microorganisms which grow at moderate temperature between 20 and 45 degrees Celsius and with an optimum growth temperature in the range of 30 to 39 degrees Celsius. So that naturally they prefer temperature near the human body temperature. So most of the pathogens that infect humans are mesophiles. And halophiles are those that thrive in high salt concentration. Then optimum temperature for an organism is one at which it grows with the shortest generation time. That is the optimum temperature. Answer is option A. The breakdown of glucose to pyruvate is called glycolysis and produces most of the ATP available from the glucose molecule. Now first part is true, but the second part is false. The breakdown of glucose to pyruvate is called glycolysis. That is true. And produces most of the ATP available from the glucose molecule. No. So it produces only 2 ATP molecules from one glucose molecule. So answer is option C. First part is true and second part is false. Energy is stored in the ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecule, in its third phosphate bond. Answer is option C. Organisms that ferment glucose may produce any of the following end products except oxygen. During fermentation, oxygen is not produced. Alcohol, propionic acid, lactic acid are produced. All the following hormones are involved in the menstrual cycle except prolactin. It is not involved in menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is regulated by a complex interaction of hormones, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and estrogen and progesterone. Then DNA contains all of the following molecule except DNA doesn't contain uracil. Uracil is found in RNA. Then next one. In anaerobic respiration, the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain is oxygen. Then next one. A researcher performs two crosses between two mice, both having black fur is dominant over white for 75% of the offsprings have black coats and 25% have white coats. The researcher can assume that the parent genotypes are more likely. So 75% of the offspring have coats and 25% have white coats. So the ratio is 3:1. So which of these parental combinations can give you 3:1? That is B, option D, that is capital B small b into capital B small b. You will get 3 black and 1 white. So the 3:1 and answer is option D. Then next one. All of the following statements are correct regarding alleles except a gene can have more than one allele. That is correct. Two identical alleles are said to be heterozygous with respect to that gene. No, they are not two identical. Identical alleles are said to be homozygous with respect to the gene, not heterozygous. One who is heterozygous will have two different alleles, such as one dominant and one recessive for a given gene. Alleles are found on corresponding loci of homologous chromosome. That is also correct. One allele can be dominant and the other can be recessive. That is also correct. So answer is option B. Krebs cycle in humans occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. Answer is option D. The brain that controls involuntary actions is known as medulla oblongata. So answer is option B. A feature of amino acids not found in carbohydrate is the presence of nitrogen atoms. Nitrogen atoms are not found in carbohydrates. Crossing over occurs during which of the following phases in sexual reproduction? It occurs during the prophase 1 of meiosis 1. Which of the following are characteristic of both bacteria and fungi? The answer is option B. They have cell wall. Both bacteria and fungi have cell wall. They have DNA and plasma membrane. But option A, if you see, cell wall is correct, but unicellularity, no. Bacteria is unicellular, fungi are multicellular. And mitochondria, bacteria doesn't have mitochondria, but fungi has mitochondria. Then if you see option C, they have got nucleus, organelles and unicellularity. All three are not correct. Nucleus and organelles are not present in bacteria, whereas fungus it is present. Then plasma membrane, that is present in both bacteria and fungi, but multicellularity is not there in bacteria but is present in fungi. Then Golgi apparatus also is present in fungi, not in bacteria. So answer is option B. The major difference between cartilage and bone is that cartilage, it lacks blood vessels and nerves. So answer is option B. Then the stored form of sugar in humans is glycogen. Answer is option A, glycogen. Then next one. Lipid which consists of 3 fatty acids covalently bonded to glycerol. It is triglyceride. Answer is option D. A substance that cannot be broken down by cows. Answer is cellulose. A substance that a cow cannot break down is cellulose because they lack the enzymes to break down this particular plant material. Now, how does the cows break down cellulose then? Ingested plant material is taken into the rumen of the cow where bacteria break down the cellulose. Thus, the otherwise indigestible plant material is broken down by the microbiota in the cow's gut. Cows don't have cellulase enzyme to break down cellulose. It is present in the bacteria which is present in the lumen of the present in the rumen of the cow. The appendix of human and the hip bone of whale are vestigial structures. Answer is option A. These are what are vestigial structures? These are structures which are part of the animal that these structures are part of the animal that are no longer functional. Then, net productivity in an ecosystem is important because it represents the net in a primary production provides the energy for all heterotrophic activity. So, answer is option C. Energy used in respiration by heterotrophs. Coming to the next question, all of the following are stimulated by sympathetic nervous system except. Answer is option D. Increased peristalsis in the gastrointestinal tract. Which of the following is a characteristic of arteries? They contain valves which prevent backflow. No. They carry blood away from the heart. That is correct. Blood is kept moving by the contraction of voluntary muscles. No. They are thin-walled blood vessels and always carry oxygenated blood. They do not always carry oxygenated blood. They carry except the case of pulmonary artery which carry deoxygenated blood. So answer B is correct. Then vitamins are essential to the human diet because they act as coenzymes. Many enzymes are simple protein consisting entirely of one or more amino acid chain. Other chain enzymes contain non-protein component called as cofactor that is necessary for the enzyme's proper functioning. There are two types of cofactors, inorganic ions that is zinc and copper ions and organic molecules known as coenzymes. Most coenzymes are vitamins or are derived from vitamins. So answer is option D, coenzyme. Then next question. Photosynthesis in plant does not require the availability of oxygen because oxygen is not essential process of photosynthesis because it is released in the process of photosynthesis when plant utilize the raw material that is carbon dioxide and water to produce sugars. The cell wall of fungus contains cellulose and chitin. Answer is option B. Pasteurization of milk means heating up to 60 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes followed by quick cooling. Answer is option D. Hormones are chemically proteins. Answer is option A. Then identify the point mutation in mRNA UAU to UAU AAC CUA. Now UAU to UAE, as per the question, UAU is getting changed to or mutated to UAU AAC CUA. So now a frame shift mutation is one where addition or deletion in DNA of one or more bases, thus changing the boundaries of the codon and altering the whole string of amino acids subsequent to the insertion or deletion. So after UAU, two codons have been added, AAC and CUA. So it is a case of frame shift mutation. Whereas here UUG CUA is getting mutated to UUG CUG. So instead of the A here it is a G. And adenine or guanine are purines. So it is a transition mutation where a purine is replaced by an other purine. So answer is option C, that is frame shift and transition respectively. Then nuclear power generates. It generates thermal pollution. Answer is option D. In insects, molting is affected with the secretion of the hormone ecdysone. Answer is option B. The translation step in the process of protein synthesis, which is the conversion of the language of nucleic acids into that of the proteins, is made by changed form of, answer is option B, tRNA. Which is the best soil for plant growth? Loamy soil. Answer is option A. Then in the process of Krebs cycle, ADP is converted to ATP, pyruvic acid is converted into ATP, acetyl-CoA is converted into carbon dioxide and water, glucose is converted into carbon dioxide. So in Krebs cycle, it is the major source of ATP production in the cell. So a large amount of energy is produced after complete oxidation of nutrients. So answer is option A, ADP is converted into ATP in Krebs cycle. Now next one. Vegetables are source of minerals and vitamins. Answer is option B. DDT is a non-biodegradable pollutant. Answer is A. So with that we end this question paper. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.